Hi everybody, Pai-chan here, and today, like usual for Fridays, we're going to be doing another review. This time it's going to be of the show Diabolik Lovers, and it is only going to be the first season, just straight diabolic lovers. Little tongue tied there. Not both the first and second season or this one and more blood. So, before we get started, let's do this. Because if I don't, I would have to put in the beginning unless I extremely censor myself. So, let's do this. Warning. Spoilers are ahead. Alright. Well, with this, there are quite a few characters, 7 to be exact, that I'm going to be talking about. So, I'm not going to do my really big rant like I usually do with them, like where I talk about them a long ways. I will say this, a lot of them, well, I'll talk about the first one and then I'll get to a little bit about the others. Well, the first character that I'm going to be talking about is Yui Komori. And her picture is going to be, the picture that I have up for her is going to be the only one that's different from the other 6. Because I could not, the other 6 are from the ending credits, but she is the only one that does not have a picture at the ending credits. Or, well, it's actually at the very end, but it is not revealing anything. Well, enough of that little rant. Yui here she is the only human that you see through the whole series. The rest of them are vampires, just so you know. And she is really devout to God or whatever. It doesn't I don't think it specifically says what religion she actually believes in. She is Christian, by the way. So all of them kind of grow in one way or another. Yui, of course, her being the main focus of the whole thing, she grows the most. But she is, the best thing that I can think of to describe her is a little naive and innocent at the beginning, but she pretty much grows a backbone by the end. I'm not going to say why I said that through the whole thing, even when I talk about the story, but she grows a freaking backbone. So all the characters, the other 6, towards the end, they wind up all getting feelings for her and pretty much thinking about her as family. And the other 6 are actually brothers. They're the Sakamakis. So I'm not going to say their last name like I did with Yui. I'm just going to say their first name. Their last name is all Sakamaki. And because you pretty much meet them at the same time, the only one you don't is Ayato, which I'll talk about him when it comes around. I will do them in order of age. So, the first one we have in order of age, keep in mind there, is Shu. And he is actually, oh, the best thing that I can say to describe him is freaking lazy. But it I'm not, well, with what happened to him when he was little, kind of, you can kind of tell. You get more information on the wiki, but, and I think, and in the second season, but he is pretty much, he's lazy, but sort of observant. So that's how he is. And like I said, all six of them grow to very much care for Yui, and they all grow in their own way. So the next one, which is his full brother, I will come back to the reason why I say that here in a minute, is Reiji. And he is, the best way I can describe him is he is really observant and kind of a bookworm, but he hides his feelings, and he is the only one that he actually, oh, I'm not quite sure what you would say about, oh, sorry, right now I'm just kind of burping quite a bit. Not quite, well, I did just finish a soda, so that might be why. But Reggie he is kind of the one that makes things run smoothly for the whole house. And so that's how he is. Now, the next one, which is actually the first one you meet and the only one you pretty much don't meet at you don't actually meet at the same time as the others, though. Well, Reggie you didn't either, but he is more elaborated on once it gets in. But Raito is the very first one she meets. No, wrong name. I was thinking of another one. Ayato is the very first one she meets. So that's who we're talking about next, is Ayato, who has a different mother than Shu and Reiji. And so I will go, like I said, I will go into that a little bit more just when I'm talking about the characters here. I'm just telling you how they're separated with the mothers. There's all, like I said. So Ayato is from a set of triplets, but he is the one, oh, he is pretty, oh, he's kind of more on he's possessive. That's the word I was looking for. He is possessive. And it's kind of funny. He calls her Pancake, which is, if you, with the picture, it's kind of funny and all that. So the next one we have, which is also one of the triplets, is Raito. And yes, just a little thing for you guys. If you recognize the name, you should. Because my cat is named after this character. And the best way that I can describe him is he is a pervert. I'm sorry. He is a freaking pervert. And the nickname that he has for her is well, in the English one, with the dub one, which is what I watched, he calls her little bitch, or he calls Yuri little bitch, or in the subbed one he calls her Bitch-chan. So as you can tell with this, it is not meant for like real little kids. I would say I would say I'd say probably about this would probably be about PG-13 around there or something something like that. This is American standards, just so you know. And so like I said, Raito, the best way I can describe him is he is a pervert. And funny thing is that he would probably be the first one to admit it. So the next one we have is the third one in the set of triplets, Kanato. And it doesn't show in this picture here, I don't think, but he is always carrying around a teddy bear, which he named Teddy. So it's kind of cute, but man, if any of them had a disorder, it would mental disorder, it'd be him, because he can instantly go from one end of the spectrum to the other, and what that describes is bipolar. And yeah, he can just switch on a dime. His what's it called? His emotions. They can just switch on a dime. So the first time you watch it, be prepared for that, because it almost feels like it gives you a whiplash. Alright, so the sixth Sakamaki brother, and also from a different mother than all of them, is Subaru. And yes, you can make the joke here about the car. I noticed that the very first time I watched the show, so go ahead in the comments, make those jokes, because I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some. But he is extremely strong. Actually, the very first episode, when you first meet him, which is what I've been talking about, which is why I just went in order of age. Very first thing he does is, other than ask a question, is he hits the wall and he makes a huge dent and cracks in it. So he is extremely strong, but extremely caring. He seems like he's the one that cares about Yui the most. So that was a really quick rundown about who and how the characters are. There's quite a bit more, and yes, you did notice that I said that there were 3 different mothers with this. So it doesn't really go into much about the mother except for the triplets one, and she causes problems. So, and you guys have probably noticed that my favorite character, considering I named my cat after him, is Raito. Yes, my favorite character is the pervert. But oh well, everybody has their own. So next we have about the art, and the pictures that I showed you of the actual Sakamaki brothers like I said, they were actually from the anime, so you could see how the art was. And I know I keep saying that I really like the art, but I think there's only one that I gave it a ding for the art, but this one, the way it does the patterns and all that, it with all that, it with the tone that it sets, it is the best compliment for the show that I could think of for an anime. Though, to make a little bit of variation to the colors, it could have been there could have been a bit more contrast to it at some points. Well, next we have the music, which I think background music, it only does one, I'm pretty sure. And that's right when it's beginning and she's driving up to the house and it kind of does this somber note, like you know something's gonna happen pretty soon, but you know something is gonna pretty much you know something is gonna happen, but you know it's not gonna be right away. Maybe like a little bit further on. And this the um the theme song, which it doesn't have an ending song, but the theme song, it doesn't play in the first episode, and it plays surprisingly it plays near the end of the last episode. So I don't know why they chose to do that, but that's just something they did. Oh, sorry about that. But with them all being vampires, the song's name is Mr. Sadistic Night, which very much fits. And it's kind of I don't know, it's kind of more of an upbeat, kind of threatening song. It's hard to describe, but it fits it pretty well for the storyline. Now, for the story itself, considering there was 12 episodes that were instead of being like the 25-minute long segments, there were 15 minutes. Some music and all. Well, there was a little bit added at the end because it was the dub version and it had like a little bit of it showed the English people who's pretty much who did it in English easier to read. So I just pretty much skipped that. So it was probably more like 13 or 14 minutes, if that. I actually wasn't paying attention. So with it being like that, I personally think it felt rushed. They could have done a bit more to just kind of, if they had stuck to like the regular episode length, they could have stretched it out a little bit more and made it a little more fleshed out and not feel rushed. So pretty much what happens is Yui's father tells her to go move over with some relatives, and she gets over to the house and she sees Ayato sleeping on like a little settee or whatever it is. Checks him out. Notice that he's cold and doesn't have a pulse, or his heart's not beating, which it probably is, just very slowly or something. So stuff pretty much stuff happens. She winds up getting chased. And she winds up, well, pretty much long story short, she winds up fainting at the end. She's not bitten yet at the first episode. Then it goes through about what happens along there, and through this whole thing, her chest is hurting. And every so often it shows her stuff actually happening to it, it actually affecting her more than usual. So, and when it does that, something big is gonna, it's kind of foreshadowing that something big is gonna happen. So, like, at one point, or like, kind of, at one point it was after something, but she actually says something about her chest turning right around where something big happens. Like, with the one that I'm talking about, it was kind of like a flashback, but she was kind of like a phantom in the background. And you get to see some ways of how all the Sakamaki brothers were treated, which is actually really sad. Though the one that you don't see how he was, and I'll just say now, every single one of them was abused in one way or another. The only one that it doesn't even hint at how he was abused was Raito. But his personality, I think I read on the wiki some stuff, and I'm not, and Raito's is pretty bad too. So, but the thing is, Subaru, I think, is, in my opinion, he might be, some people might say that, he was abused by his mother, but I think he was the only one that wasn't abused by his actual mother. I think his was that he was abused by the others. Because Subaru's mother, he had to witness her being locked in it. He had to witness her being locked in a tower. And see her pretty much just because of it go mad. Pretty much. Well, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to say what happens at the end, because that's kind of like I've been doing with the other ones. Not the very first ones, but after a little while, I decided not to say what happens at the end so that you guys will want to watch it. So, with my rating, even with how much I liked it and all that, I would still have to only give it about a 4 out of 10. Because it seemed too rushed. I liked the story and all that, but if they would have, maybe a 5. Yeah, I'll say 5, not 4. If they would have just made it regular sized episodes, keep the amount of episodes, but stretch them out a little bit, give them a little more depth. That, I think, would have worked out very well. And even with all the biting, and like I said, the Sakamaki brothers are vampires, so there's gonna be some biting involved. Well, most likely anyway. But even with all that, they could have stretched it out, given it a little more depth. Blech. I can't talk today. But given it a little more depth. Oh, I just said that word too. But drawing it out a little bit more would have helped a lot to where it didn't feel rushed or anything like that. Now, I'm gonna show you guys a drawing that I've done, and yes, this definitely coincides, goes along with this, and you will see why here in a minute once I find it. No, not the father, not the one that I call like father, like daughter. Ah, there he is. Right here. And as you notice, this definitely goes along with this show because the inspiration for this picture came from this picture right here. And this is taken directly from the show. So this is one that I've drawn, and he's supposed to be like on his bed or something like that with the light on and all that. And as you can tell from the beginning when I was talking about them, his color is green, which is why I made his bedding green. Well, that's it for today, everybody. And if you want to get in contact with me, my DeviantArt and Twitter account will be down in the description. So go check it out if you like, and like, comment, and subscribe for more videos coming soon. And if you want to make sure you get my videos, click the little notification bell so that you get a text and stuff when I put them out, when I put them up. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. See ya!